Level 1. Invisible. You are 22. You scan phones at a store you can't afford to shop in. Your manager announces a promotion. He gives it to the man who started 3 months after you. He explains it's about presence. You have been present every single shift. He takes a lift home. You take the bus. Both of you are going somewhere, not the same place. Your apartment is a studio. The mattress is on the floor because you haven't bought a frame yet. You open your laptop at the kitchen table. One leg is shorter than the others. You've wedged a folded receipt under it. You have been building an idea in your head for 8 months. Tonight, you finally write it down. 3 pages. You take it to the coffee shop the next morning. You write it on a napkin. Paper makes it more real. That evening, you show it to your boyfriend. He reads 4 seconds of it and closes the laptop. That's cute, he says, in the tone people use for things they've already decided not to take seriously. You fold the napkin and put it in your wallet. You don't bring it up again. At the bank, the loan officer doesn't look up for 90 seconds. He reads 2 lines, asks if you have collateral. You don't. Come back when you do. You start building a loan. Nights, weekends. The coffee shop stays open until midnight. First app date. He talks for 45 minutes about his job at a company you're already quietly beating. He asks what you do. You say you're building something. He nods and moves on. You check your bank account on the way home. $312. You sit on the mattress on the floor and hold the napkin. You keep going. That is the whole plan. Level 2. Entry level. You are 24. You took an admin job for the health insurance while the startup finds its legs. Day 3. A male colleague explains your own software system to you. You built a version of it 2 years ago. You nod. You take the shorter path to the same answer. He thinks he taught you something. 3rd week. Your process improvement idea appears in the manager's email. His name is at the top. He calls it a process improvement. Your name is not in it. The process does improve. App date. He asks your 5-year plan. You start to answer. He pivots to his. You spend the rest of dinner listening to his 5-year plan. The check comes. He splits it. You pitch to 3 investors. The first asks if you have a co-founder. You say you are the company. Come back when you have a team, he says. You have a team. It is you. The second investor says the market is too small. It has 400 million potential users. The third investor doesn't reply to the follow-up email. 3 months later, first real revenue. $1,200 from a customer you found on Twitter. Amazing, babe, he says without looking up from the TV. You have 6 users. You know all their names and their specific problems. An angel investor, a woman, reads the deck and asks the right questions. She writes a check for $40,000. Her hands are steady when she signs. You deposit the check on a Tuesday, the same day you were passed over for that promotion. You quit the job on Thursday. Nobody asks you to stay. Level 3. Traction. You are 26. The startup has revenue and a real product. You moved out of the studio. New apartment. The desk doesn't wobble. Startup conference in San Francisco. Your name badge says founder. A man at the networking event explains your industry to you for 8 minutes before asking what you do. You tell him. His face does something small and fast. He pivots to the person behind you. A panel investor says he looks for technical founders. You are a technical founder. You built the product. Another investor. Do you have an engineer on the team? You are the engineer on the team. You stop explaining this. You just look at the next investor. 2 term sheets. You sign the better one. You don't celebrate alone that night. New date. Smart. Good company. You mention the startup. His posture shifts 2 inches forward. The shift is not romantic interest. It is recalibration. You recognize the texture. He doesn't call back. A mutual friend says you came across as a lot. A lot is another word for confident, when the confident person isn't who they expected. You hire your first employee, a 23-year-old woman sharper than anyone else you interviewed. You explain the product once. She improves it in week 2. You give her equity. Revenue crosses $100,000 for the year. You stare at the number for a long time. You pull up the bank rejection letter from 2 years ago. You read it again. You don't feel angry. You feel specific. You know exactly what collateral cost you in time. You look at the napkin. 3 pages that fit on a square of paper. It is still holding. Level 4. The asterisk. You are 28. The company is real. The metrics are undeniable. Q3 numbers. 38% growth. You present to a board that didn't exist 2 years ago. One investor writes in his notepad. You can read it from the other end of the table. He writes, passionate. 38% growth, and he chose a word that means nothing specific. Passionate is the adjective investors use when the numbers are too good to argue with, but the founder is harder to categorize. A tech journalist writes a profile. The 3rd paragraph is about your relationship status. A male founder with identical metrics is profiled the same week. No mention of his relationship status. You point this out over email. He says he's covering what readers are curious about. You now know what readers are curious about when the founder is a woman. You hire 3 engineers. In the interviews, all 3 ask technical questions they don't ask male candidates. You answer every question correctly, faster than they expect. One of them looks surprised. He recovers quickly. You note the recovery. You hire all 3. You note who recovered and who didn't. It matters later. Conference keynote. The host introduces you as impressive, especially given her background. You smile. You step to the mic. You give the talk. You do not explain what her background means. Your mother calls Sunday. I'm so proud. Then, but when will you have time for a family? Both sentences are true simultaneously. Neither is the full sentence. Your ex texts. That profile was impressive. 6 months of silence before that message. The napkin is still in your wallet. The crease is deep now. You don't flatten it. Level 5. First million. You are 30. The company crossed $1 million in revenue. You're sitting alone in the office at 11 p.m. You look at the number on the screen for a long time. There's no one in the building to tell. Dinner at the kind of restaurant you used to pass on the bus to the subway. Your date is good company. Smart. Then he Googles you mid-conversation. You watch his face load the results. There's a specific 2-second expression before he arranges a smile. The smile that arrives after the 2 seconds is not the same smile as before. He spends the rest of dinner trying to be interesting instead of being present. You order dessert anyway. He doesn't call back. The number landed before he had a framework for it. Men who didn't return your emails at 22 now want to grab coffee and connect. The VC who said your market was too small wants to discuss partnership opportunities. You translate. I would like proximity to what I misjudged. You file it. Not with anger, with precision. You know what each message costs to send. LinkedIn fills with men posting about supporting female founders. You check the dates. The posts appear after the press coverage, not before. Gravity is not personal. It is structural. You hire your 10th employee, twice your age. He addresses every question to the male co-founder you don't have. The third time it happens in a meeting, you answer before the question finishes being redirected. He adjusts. Not quickly, but he adjusts. Adjustment is the version of respect this room offers. You take a late-night drive through the city. The lights look different when you own something in them. The napkin is in your wallet. The wallet is in a bag that costs more than 3 months of your first rent. Level 6. The list. You are 32. A magazine list. Your photo above a number with 8 digits. The interviewer asks 3 questions about your company. Then, are you seeing anyone? The male CEO on the same list gets 2 full pages. No one asks about his personal life. You point it out in print, a small note at the end of the interview. Some readers are bothered by it. You learn that noticing a pattern out loud makes certain people uncomfortable. You note who those people are. Networking events are different now. Men arrive with research. They know your cap table. They know your Series B date, your retention metrics. They don't know your coffee order. You have an audience in every room. You used to have a table. The table was cheaper. Your ex from the $0 apartment sends a LinkedIn message. 6 sentences, professionally formatted. I always knew you'd do something incredible. You read, always knew, and translate, and still left. You don't reply. The not replying is its own kind of answer. The VC who rejected you 3 times asks if you're open to a second conversation. You schedule 45 minutes. He has done his homework. He is trying hard. You listen. You say you'll think about it. You don't think about it. You manage people who manage people. The chain from you to the work has 3 links. You find the distance useful in the mornings and unsettling at night. Late in your office. The city through the window. You have won most of the rooms you were dismissed from. That is not the same thing as having been welcomed into them. The napkin is in a drawer in San Francisco. You haven't needed to look at it recently. That changes. Level 7. The lobby. You are 35. $100 million and you still wake at 6 like something is chasing you. The man from the napkin scene is in your lobby. You know before you see him. Some things you just know. He has a leather portfolio, expensive suit. The posture of someone who rehearsed. You walk past. He stands. You give him one glance. Elevator doors close between you. You ride up 17 floors. You don't call down to schedule the meeting. What he needs, you can't give him. What he took, he can't return. The VC who said your market was too small is on the cover of a publication about missed opportunities in your exact sector. We always believed in this space. Always. That word is doing significant structural work in that sentence. A woman at a gala. 22. She is talking to someone twice her age about her startup idea. She has the posture of someone being politely dismissed. You recognize it from the inside. You cross the room. You ask her about the idea. She explains it clearly. It is a good idea. She expected to be moved along after 30 seconds. You stay for 12 minutes. You give her your card. You say, send me the deck. She does. That night, from the parking garage. You fund it 3 weeks later. Not because you owe her something, because the idea is good. Late at night in your home office. The drawer is open. The napkin is in your hand. The writing is faded, but readable. Your handwriting from 12 years ago. The idea written there became a company worth 11 figures. The version of you who wrote it had $312 in her bank account. She had no collateral, no co-founder, no one who took her seriously in the room. Level 8. The napkin. You are 38. $1 billion is a number that stops feeling like a number. You go back to the coffee shop. Same neighborhood. They remodeled once. The mismatched chairs stayed. You order the same coffee. The barista doesn't recognize you. For 20 minutes, you are not a headline. You sit at the same corner table. You take out the napkin. You unfold it carefully. The paper is soft at the creases now, not brittle. You read what you wrote at 22. The idea the man called cute. The one the banker called insufficient. The version that became 11 figures is different in execution. The core is exactly the same. You'll have been building this since before anyone was watching. That fact doesn't appear in the profiles. The year you were invisible was the year none of the money was at stake. The ideas were the same. A young woman at the next table has a laptop open, typing with the focused urgency of someone building something. She stops, rereads something, types again. You recognize the posture from both directions. Your eyes meet for a second. She looks back at her screen. You order her a coffee. No explanation. The barista brings it over. She looks up. She looks at you. She looks at the coffee. "Thank you," she says. You smile. It costs nothing. It is the most expensive thing you have given in years. The napkin sits on the table between your cup and hers. Same weight it always had. You never did flatten the crease.